I have been very keen on knowing what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has in mind, boasting about reform in the education sector. Now, his social media assistant, Olusegun Dada, yes, has listed what he calls the key items of the reform, and they include one, introduction of the student loan. Rather than funding education, Bola Ahmed Tinubu introduced education loan. Before you introduce education loan, you will have, introducing education loan should not have meant that you stop funding education for Nigerian students as hitherto. Nigerian governments all over the years have been funding education to a great extent for Nigerian children. You come and rubbish that and replace it with agony student loan. And that's the first thing on the reform list. Secondly, reinstatement of history. Removal of history from the curriculum was an anomaly. So what you have done is that, okay, we have now returned history to Nigeria's curriculum to be studied at all levels of education. Fine, but not a big credit. It's a credit, quite all right, but not a big one. And then in the third instance, curriculum review to emphasize entrepreneurship, digital literacy, and civic education. I don't know. The only exception on this list is digital literacy. Otherwise, entrepreneurship and civic education have always been emphasized. Whether lip service has been paid to it over the years is the only difference. And all other things from Bola Ahmed Tinubu point to lip service to these issues, So civic education has always been in the curriculum. Emphasis on entrepreneurship. Well, that academic education and industry should harmonize. It's not new in the talking, but in the doing. So, and let's look at it. We have faculties of agriculture, but unproductive, because we have numerous faculties of agriculture, even institutes of agriculture, yet importing rice and agricultural products. So you now ask yourself, where are the dividends of the money that government is pumping into these institutions and faculties? Faculties of agriculture, institutes of agriculture, almost since the colonial era, And then in the fourth instance, expansion of school feeding program. School feeding program, particularly now that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government is paying workers less than living wage. So ability for workers, even workers, to take adequate care of their families, feed themselves, take transport, attend to family needs has become next to impossibility for most families. So, feeding program, expansion of school feeding program. Is that going to take care of special needs of some students? You impoverish the populace. You are mounting expansion of school feeding program. And how many schools are you feeding? Because Nigeria has numerous schools in towns and villages, thousands upon thousands, in fact in millions throughout Nigeria. Because Nigeria is a huge population, with some families having 6, 7, 8 children, even those with 3 children. So numerous primary and secondary schools, numerous institutions, school feeding program, expansion of school feeding to cover special needs of students. So government now becomes the one to take care of children born by Nigerians in schools, but not in their homes. Oh my God. So, what is the big deal in this Tinubu's reform in the education sector? What is in it? Noise, distraction, another distraction from the real issues, from the real problems bedeviling Nigeria. You return history to the curriculum. Oh, well done. You expand school feeding program because you know that you are paying workers less than living wage. Welfare of Nigerians is next to nothing. With workers having to threaten strike or go on strike before they can get their entitlements. The minimal entitlements that you accrue to them naturally. You are creating difficulties for Nigerians, priding yourself on expanding school feeding program. Oh my God. Insulting the intelligence of Nigerians. You, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you continue to collude with the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian universities to be extorting a percentage of each ASU member's monthly salary monthly. The corruption started in 2012 with 2% of each ASU member's monthly salary monthly. And rather than stopping it, it increased to 3% under your rule, colluding with the leadership of academic staff, and in fact colluding with workers' unions leaders to shortchange and exploit the workers. That's what you are doing. That is the implication of collaborating with ASU to be extorting a percentage of each worker's monthly salary monthly. And in 2025, you also paid the fraud called End Academic Allowance, which you know is not End Academic Allowance, but a bribe to store the implementation of the 2009 agreement due since 2013. And since 2013, Nigeria's rulers have started paying fraudulent End Academic Allowance to ASU leadership to stall implementation of the 2009 agreement, bordering on the welfare packages and the increment of salaries for ASU members. So, and you have paid that fraud this year that scam this year 2025. So you are corrupt and you have no welfare of workers at heart. That was how you invited the leaders of Nigeria's Labour Congress. You bribed them to accept 70,000 as minimum wage. And they came out to be telling Nigerians stupid thing. Tinubu said he will increase fuel price. Should we ask for more than 70,000 naira? What about all the increments that he has made, which led you to be asking for 250,000 minimum wage, only to descend as low as 70,000? But the implication is clear that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is colluding with workers' unions leaders to shortchange workers, to exploit workers. Now claiming expansion of school feeding program. You are giving credit to yourself for the fraud called, the fraudulent palliative schemes, which you are using to replace fuel subsidy is gone. All other subsidies are gone. We have never seen this level of corruption in Nigeria. Never. To even your predecessors who claimed fuel subsidy never said fuel subsidy is gone. All other subsidies are gone. So what are you doing? What are you telling us? You are just creating distractions from the real issues, from the real problem in Nigeria, rather than negotiating to stop the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community. Herdsmen terrorism. Tinubu added fuel subsidy is gone. All other subsidies are gone. Paying workers less than minimum wage, less than living wage, yet sinking Nigeria in debts. So, what? You have nothing to claim, President Bola Ahmed. There's nothing in your education reform that is a big deal. Just distractions. It's like making a covert and calling it a flyover. That's what you are doing. You are deceptive. Your corruption is, oh my God, unimaginable, horrible. And the result is clear. Mushrooming and bandits. Ambushing our security forces and finishing them in hundreds. Since the days of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, 2009, when he started the war in 2009 till date, disoriented rulers have been perpetuating the war, an unjustifiable and unnecessary war, imposing a jihadist war on Nigeria, and now distracting Nigerians with next to nothing abracadabra education reform or reform in the education sector. Garbage from A to Z. Retrogressing Nigeria since 2015 till date with one distraction or another, rather than piling up problems, serious problems for Nigeria. War against the Boko Haram Muslim community, herdsmen terrorism, non-existent fuel subsidy is gone, all other subsidies are gone. And all of this on Nigerians, for God's sake, killing Nigeria. Why using distraction to? Because not all, I don't know the percentage of Nigerians that thinks. That's the problem. Because once they go to church and mosque, they have forgotten everything. They have left everything for God.